Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, the deadly severe weather outbreak, a scary scene at the ballpark, and get ready for an adopt-a-thon. Severe weather threat from Texas to hard-hit Pennsylvania. Widespread flooding across Oklahoma. Vehicles submerged. A lightning strike sparking a fire that destroyed this home. Hundreds of flights canceled. Ginger is tracking it all.
Trade war fallout. President Trump acknowledges prices could rise, and trade with China expected to slow dramatically after the American economy shrunk since Trump took office.
Frightening fall. A baseball fan in critical condition after tumbling from the bleachers and onto the warning track at a Pirates game.
Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway, who was behind the wheel of a golf cart when a terrible accident led to the death of his longtime agent and friend. What Elway is saying this morning.
Wildfire emergency in Israel. Crews fighting some of the worst fires in the nation's history, forcing evacuations around Jerusalem. Our team is live on the scene.
New fallout in a big fine. The NFL hitting the Atlanta Falcons and its defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich with over $300,000 in fines, following that draft day prank call to Shedeur Sanders. Now, Ulbrich speaking for the first time.
Bill Belichick speaks out what the Super Bowl champion is saying about his girlfriend, and some of his former players weigh in.
King Charles sharing his most personal thoughts about his cancer fight, on what it was like to be diagnosed, who he honored, and what he now has a deep appreciation for. Well, Thursday's going to the dog. We have puppies in Times Square this morning. Cannot wait for that. Plus, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is also here. Always great to see you.
Yeah, I don't think she'd mind giving the puppies top billing this morning. So. We're going to begin with the deadly storm that's battering a large portion of the country. Americans from Texas to the Ohio Valley are on alert.
Bracing for possible tornadoes, hail, and flash flooding. The severe weather outbreak causing chaos for air travel. And you know, Ginger is tracking it all for us.
And not only the hundreds of flights that were canceled by these storms yesterday, many of them in Texas or Oklahoma, but at least 2 people were killed by flash flooding in Oklahoma. And remember, some of the state, many of the cities have had more than a foot of rain in April alone. So the wettest April on record, all the way from Lawton, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and Wichita Falls, Texas. Along with that lightning that set that house on fire, burned it fully, there was also severe storms that blasted through all the way up into the Mid-South. Now today, the elevated risk of flash flooding still centers itself right along the Red River. And you see Pittsburgh highlighted there. That's because this low pressure system and the attending warm and cold fronts approach. So everyone from Nashville to Lexington up through Columbus, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Toledo too, you are on alert for damaging winds. And I just have to mention, this is after 4 people were killed just the other day, George, in Pennsylvania alone. And now they've got more storms on the way. Today, still close to 250,000 customers without power.
Yeah, they are getting hit so hard. Okay, Ginger, thanks. We're going to get the latest now on President Trump. Amid fears of recession and new numbers showing the economy contracting, the president acknowledged that his tariffs would raise prices for Americans. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the story. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the president insists the economic downturn has nothing to do with his tariffs, but at the same time, he is now acknowledging that his trade war may cause some prices to rise. But he is asking Americans to be patient and trust him. This morning, a sobering sign of the possible toll of the president's trade war. The American economy shrinking since Trump took office. The gross domestic product declining 0.3% in the first 3 months of this year. The president quick to blame his predecessor, not his own tariffs and the uncertainty they're causing, as fears of a recession grow.
This is Biden's economy because we took over on January 20th, and I think you have to get us a little bit of time to get moving.
Before Trump took office, there had been 33 straight months of growth. Now the president on defense, as many economists blame the ongoing trade war for rattling the markets. Wall Street seeing its worst start to a presidential term since Nixon in 1974. Trump has dismissed concerns about rising prices. Our Terry Moran asking the president about fears his trade policy will fuel inflation.
145% tariffs on China, and that's good. Basically
That's
an
good.
embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs.
Less than 24 hours later, Trump acknowledging prices on some items like toys may rise.
Somebody said, oh, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls, you know? And maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking about something that we have to go out of our way.
Trade with China, hit with 145% tariffs, is expected to dramatically slow. The number of cargo ships coming into the port of Los Angeles next week expected to be down 36% from this time last year. But the president says much of what China sells are products Americans don't need.
They have ships that are loaded up with stuff, much of which, not all of it, but much of which we don't need. And we have to make a fair deal.
The Chinese government firing back, calling the U.S. just a, quote, small stranded boat. And it's now been 3 weeks since the president paused his sweeping so-called reciprocal tariffs to allow time to negotiate with countries. But so far, no deals have been announced. And overnight, the president made clear he's in no rush, suggesting Americans can wait this out a bit longer, saying, quote, we are sitting on the catbird seat. They want us. We don't need them. Michael.
All right, Mary, thank you for bringing that to us. We're going to turn now to the U.S. and Ukraine, agreeing to a deal involving Ukraine's mineral resources as the White House affirms its commitment to ending Russia's war with Ukraine. Our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, has the details for us. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. This is a landmark agreement, I think, giving the U.S. access to Ukraine's mineral wealth, estimated to be worth billions of dollars. While it doesn't offer Ukraine the clear security guarantees that it's wanted, it does say repeatedly that the U.S. backs a, quote, peaceful and sovereign Ukraine. In a video message on X, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying it signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration's committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign Ukraine, saying it's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing must stop. And I think it's a huge step forward. You remember that acrimonious meeting in the Oval Office in February descended into a shouting match involving the president, vice president and Zelensky. Well, speaking to News Nation, President Trump saying this deal could hinder Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. The president frustrated by the lack of progress on a peace deal and by ongoing Russian attacks. And overnight, another massive Russian airstrike hitting civilian sites like apartment blocks, a school, a supermarket, at least 2 people killed, 15 injured, and rescue efforts still ongoing this morning. And for the people of Ukraine, now at least, no signs this war is ending. Robin?
That appears to be the case, Ian. Thank you. Now we have the latest on Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who was wrongfully deported to a prison in El Salvador. There's new fallout because after President Trump suggested he could get him back to the U.S. if he wanted to. Our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, has the latest. Good morning, Rachel.
Robin, good morning to you. We know the Trump administration has been working closely with El Salvador on detaining migrants, but now we are learning the Secretary of State has been in contact with El Salvador about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This morning, new fallout over the fate of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man wrongfully deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador because of an administrative error. Sources tell ABC News Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in touch with El Salvador's president about Abrego Garcia. Our Karen Travers asking if a request has been made to facilitate his return as the Supreme Court ordered.
Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge.
For weeks, administration officials have argued it's up to El Salvador's president to return Abrego Garcia.
President Bukele said he was not sending him back. That's the end of the story.
Now, in an interview with our Terry Moran, the president suggests he could get Abrego Garcia back if he wanted to.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has ordered you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law.
Well, we know Secretary Rubio has been in contact with El Salvador. It's unclear if the goal of those discussions is to bring Abrego Garcia back to the United States. So far, the president of El Salvador has refused that, George.
Yeah, and it's almost certain that those comments the president made to Terry are going to make it to the Supreme Court. Rachel, thanks very much. We're going to stay at the court now, where the justice heard arguments in a religious charter school case out of Oklahoma. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has the story. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. In what could be a landmark case, the Supreme Court appears to be poised to clear the way for the creation of the first public-run, religious-based charter school in America. Under the long-standing principle of the separation of church and state, public schools are not permitted to promote a specific religion. But yesterday, the court heard arguments in the case of a Catholic school in Oklahoma that is seeking funding as a public charter school. The school's lawyers argued that the ban on church-run charter schools amounts to discrimination, and the court's conservative justices seem to agree. Here's the way Justice Kavanaugh put it.
All the religious school is saying is don't exclude us on account of our religion. And when you have a program that's open to all comers except religion, no, we can't do that. We can do everything else. That seems like rank discrimination against religion.
The court's three liberal justices clearly saw it differently, warning that using taxpayer money to run a religious school would violate the Constitution and would open the door to state-run religious schools of all kinds and all faiths. George, a decision on this case is expected in June.
Significant change possible in church-state relations. Okay, John, thanks very much. Michael?
Thank you, George. Now to the wildfire emergency in Israel. Firefighters are battling what officials say are likely the largest fires in the nation's history. Our foreign correspondent, Tom Sufi-Burge, is on the scene for us. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael. Yeah, these now blackened and charred hillsides are actually still smouldering over in the distance there. The flames torching around 5,000 acres of land here just west of Jerusalem. And we've been watching in the last few moments as planes have been circling overhead, dumping fire retardant onto these hills. The flames raging out of control Wednesday. People abandoning their vehicles on a major highway as fire crews race to contain the blaze. Israel's Air Force with this impressive view from above as they drop blocks of fire retardant. The winds yesterday hitting 50 miles an hour. With the flames spreading so quickly, some 10,000 people were told to leave their homes. The good news, guys, this morning is that temperatures are down significantly, as are those winds. And it now looks like fire crews broadly have the fire under control. The cause, Robin, is being investigated.
But it's encouraging that it looks like they do have it under control, as you said right now, Tom. Thank you. Now, a scary scene at a baseball game in Pittsburgh last night. A fan fell more than 20 feet from the stands onto the field and is in critical condition this morning. Will Reeve has that story for us. Good morning, Will.
Hey, good morning, Robin. It started out as an exciting moment for the home crowd, a big hit in the 7th inning, but that joy turned into a terrifying scene when that fan went hurtling over the railing in right field, in critical condition now, and the incident was caught on video.
This morning, baseball fans left in shock after a man fell from the bleachers at Pittsburgh's PNC Park, landing on the field during the Pirates game.
When you look at it like in slow-mo, he just looked like he was like jolting up because it was a huge play.
Bobby Ketter shot this video showing a fan dropping about 20 feet. He says at first he had no idea he had captured the fall.
Next thing you know, the girl behind me was like, "Hey, did you record that?" And my dad's next to me. He was like, "Look at the stretchers in the outfield."
Players were seen frantically trying to alert umpires and security as the man lay on the warning track.
The fact of how it went down and then, laying motionless, like while the play's going on, it's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
The game was paused for about 10 minutes. Players taking a knee as medical personnel loaded the man onto a cart and rushed him to the hospital.
Obviously a very, scary moment, and just you kind of see like everybody's taking a knee and just praying and hoping everything's okay.
The Pirates reacting to last night's incident, saying their thoughts and prayers are with him and his family.
And it's still unclear what led to that fall, and people have died from falls at baseball games in the past. Major League Baseball has taken steps to make stadiums safer in various ways, including requiring each team to expand netting down the foul lines to protect from line drives. But really just a scary scene, guys.
Boy, it sure was. Okay, well, thanks very much. We're going to go to the latest fallout now from the prank call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. The Falcons assistant coach, whose son made the call, spoke about it for the first time, and the league handed out fines. Lara's here with the story. Hey, Lara.
George, good morning to you. As the world watched Shedeur Sanders slip lower and lower in the draft, he received what he thought was a call from the Saints telling him his slide was over. Now we know it was just a cruel prank on one of the biggest nights in a player's career, and the NFL is trying to ensure it never happens again.
Look out. Big sack.
This morning, the NFL is hitting the Atlanta Falcons and its defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, with over $300,000 in fines following that draft day prank call.
You're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
My actions of not protecting confidential data were inexcusable.
Ulbrich speaking for the first time since his 21-year-old son Jax was part of that prank call to Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, anxiously awaiting for news in the second round.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints. We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's be legendary.
But it wasn't the Saints on the phone. Video posted online showing 21-year-old Jax Ulbrich sitting next to a friend who was making that call.
Nobody got that number but coaches.
The Falcons say he got Sanders' number from his father's unlocked iPad. Now the team fined $250,000 and Jeff Ulbrich $100,000.
Going forward, I promise my son and I will work hard to demonstrate we are better than this.
Jax also apologizing in an Instagram post saying, "I am so sorry I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish." And the NFL is also investigating 5 other prank calls to players during the draft, so we could see more fines, guys.
All right. Thank you for that, Lara. Appreciate it. And coming up, we had an investigation into the golf cart accident that left John Elway's longtime agent and friend dead. We're going to hear what the Hall of Famer is saying this morning.
And Eva Pilgrim has the latest on Bill Belichick. Eva?
Hey, Robin. The Super Bowl winning coach is fighting back, defending his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, describing the role she plays in his life. I'll tell you what he said. That's coming up, George.
And breaking at 8, the new study that finds the active ingredient in Wegovy and Ozempic could help with another serious illness.
Coming up, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is here live in Times Square. We cannot wait.
She's always a great guest.
She's always fantastic.
Oh, wow.
And we'll be right back, everybody. You stay right there on this Thursday morning.
All right, who's dancing? Come on, who's dancing? You want me to get it started? I'll get it started.
Can't get enough of this. Welcome back to GMA. We're dancing the Thursday with that woman right there. Woo! She got to start. All right, Michael. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And our GMA team this morning. What would happen if Seinfeld's Elaine, he said that, and Viv Selena and her Thunderbolts character, Valentina, what if they all teamed up? We're going to ask her, and Julia is here live in Times Square.
Sounds like a movie right there.
It does, doesn't it?
First new at 7:30. Columbia University student Mohsen Madawi is out of custody after a federal judge ordered his release. Madawi was arrested 2 weeks ago by immigration officers when he went for his citizenship interview. He was the leader of student protests against the war in Gaza. His case is ongoing. Also, a federal judge ruled that Apple violated a court order that required it to allow greater competition for app downloads and payment methods in its App Store. The judge also referred Apple and one of its executives to federal prosecutors for a criminal contempt investigation into their conduct in the case. It's part of Apple's ongoing dispute with Epic Games maker Fortnite. Epic's founder says the game will return to the App Store next week.
And Coach Dawn Staley has earned a place in the hearts of South Carolina basketball fans, and now she has a permanent place in the state's capital. A statue of the 3-time NCAA champion was unveiled in Columbia on Wednesday. It shows Staley cutting down the net after her first national title. The statue was done in partnership with Statues for Equality, which works to increase gender diversity in public spaces.
I'm telling you, what she has done there at South Carolina is just incredible. And her players, as she turns out.
Yeah. She turns out great players and keep getting more every year. All right, thank you for that. Congratulations to her. And we're going to turn now to Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway. He's at the center of an investigation to a golf cart accident that left his longtime agent dead. Kana Whitworth is in LA with more. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, Michael, good morning. And we're now hearing from Jeff Spurbeck's wife, Corey, in a statement remembering him as a husband, father, brother, and son, and saying they're grieving right now alongside their dearest friends, the Elways. This morning, authorities investigating a tragic golf cart accident involving Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway and his longtime friend and business partner, Jeff Spurbeck, who died from his injuries. This morning, Elway, who was behind the wheel, according to witnesses, reacting in a statement saying in part, "I am absolutely devastated and heartbroken. There are no words to truly express the profound sadness I feel with the sudden loss of someone who has meant so much to me." Witnesses describing a chaotic scene in the exclusive Madison Club in La Quinta, California, near Palm Springs.
It was so scary. I mean, it was nothing like we've ever seen. You just don't think you're going to ever witness anything like that. But his wife was like hysterical.
They were reportedly leaving a party after attending the Stagecoach Music Festival on Saturday with their spouses when Spurbeck fell from the golf cart and hit his head, according to TMZ.
He was unfortunately lying on the ground, and there were people surrounding him, just trying to make sure he was okay.
She says Elway was calling for help.
He was on the phone trying to call 911, call anyone.
The 62-year-old passing away 4 days later. Back in the 90s, Spurbeck was Elway's agent, and the quarterback went on to win 2 Super Bowls in his 16 seasons with the Denver Broncos.
He dives inside the 5-yard line.
The pair then starting a winery together. And driving golf carts is commonplace in this gated community, and the Riverside Sheriff's Office is investigating. They said they will take appropriate action based on the outcome, but according to TMZ, it does not appear that Elway was driving negligently at the time. Guys.
Okay, Kana. Yeah, thank you very much. We're going to turn now to the Karen Reed retrial. A key witness testified yesterday that she heard Reed say, "I hit him," after finding her boyfriend dead in the snow. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is tracking this case. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. And that witness says she heard Reed repeat that phrase, "I hit him," multiple times that morning. And for the prosecution, it's pivotal testimony because they say it shows an admission of guilt by Karen Reed. But that witness, whose name is Jen McCabe, was grilled by Reed's team, who says she's an unreliable witness and her story keeps changing.
This morning, star witness Jennifer McCabe back on the stand, this time facing ferocious cross-examination from Karen Reed's defense team. Reed is accused of purposely hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV after a night of heavy drinking back in 2022. McCabe testifying that once Reed realized O'Keefe never made it home that night, her behavior became hysterical. So in a blinding blizzard, McCabe, Reed, and another one of O'Keefe's friends set out to search for him and finding his unconscious body buried in the snow.
Did you hear or do you remember the defendant saying anything to the first responder?
Yes.
What did she say?
She told the first responder, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him."
The defense drilling McCabe on that statement.
Your memory's getting better, even as we sit here today, correct?
There are certain things I will never forget, Mr. Jackson.
Including the fact that you never, ever, ever said, she said the words "I hit him" to a grand jury when you were asked about it 3 months after the incident. Correct?
She said, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him."
Reed's attorneys pointing out that McCabe initially testified to the grand jury that a panicked Reed asked her if she could have hit O'Keefe. Here's what Reed told me about that in our interview in 2023.
And one of the things that Jen McCabe says that you said at the time when you found John's body, "I hope I didn't hit him. I hope I didn't hit him." And then the firefighter said that you said, she heard you say, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him."
I said, "I hit him." It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. So did I say the 3 words, "I hit him"? Yes. Did I hit him?
Earlier, prosecutors playing the 911 call McCabe made after finding O'Keefe. Reed can be heard screaming in the background. McCabe telling the jury she tried to comfort Reed as they waited in the back of a police cruiser.
We held hands, we prayed, and at that point, Miss Reed started yelling to Miss Roberts, "Go check on him." And at that point, myself and Miss Reed got out of the car, and she started yelling and pulling on me to Google hypothermia and Google how long it takes for somebody, to die in the cold.
And Karen Reed, stoic throughout her former friend's testimony, but she did have these words for reporters outside of court.
Inconsistencies, every statement's different. Under oath, not under oath, with the cops are all wrong. This is very similar to what we saw a year ago.
Why is she so inconsistent?
Because she's lying.
Clearly no love lost there. Now, McCabe has been the subject of threats and harassment by Reed's army of supporters in the Boston area. Today is a court holiday, but Jen McCabe will be back on the stand for a third day of testimony on Friday once court resumes. Guys.
Many watching this case, Matt, as you know. Thank you. Now we have the latest on King Charles' cancer fight and where his health stands now. The King releasing a new message to the world. Let's go back to our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, with those details. Good morning again, Ian.
Yeah, good morning again, Robin. We don't often hear personal messages from the royals, but this was one from the King talking about what it's like to be diagnosed with cancer, saying it could be a daunting and at times frightening experience for those individuals and their loved ones, but that it can also be an experience that brings into sharp focus the very best of humanity. Now, the King was talking about his feelings as part of this reception at the Palace for cancer carers. He says he now has an even deeper appreciation of the extraordinary work they do. Remember, the Palace hasn't disclosed what type of cancer the King has, nor what stage, but they do describe it as a managed condition. Princess Kate announcing she's now in full remission after her diagnosis, saying she was undergoing preventative chemotherapy. And after being largely absent from the public eye, celebrating her 14th wedding anniversary with Prince William in Scotland, and that was just a couple of days ago. Guys.
Okay, Ian, thanks very much. The latest from Bill Belichick. He responded to what he calls a false narrative following his recent interview and questions about his girlfriend. Eva Pilgrim back with the story. Hey, Eva.
Hey, guys. Bill Belichick, he's got a new coaching job at UNC. He's got a new book, The Art of Winning, Lessons from My Life in Football. He is no question one of the football greats. But all anyone is talking about right now is his girlfriend and their relationship.
Football legend Bill Belichick playing defense this morning. The six-time Super Bowl winning head coach holding the line when it comes to his girlfriend. For the first time, the 73-year-old publicly revealing that he and 24-year-old Jordan Hudson share both a personal and professional relationship. The nature of their relationship in the spotlight after this recent CBS Sunday Morning interview.
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Hudson seen interrupting, but Belichick setting the record straight about how the two met, saying, "We have been open about the fact that Jordan and I met on a flight to Palm Beach in 2021. This as several of Belichick's former players are now speaking out. Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman talking about their old coach on their podcast, Dudes on Dudes.
When you look at this situation and you say, oh, this is his girlfriend jumping in, I think that's unfair. I think she's actually working with Coach Belichick in the professional world. Jordan is playing the Bears role.
Bears Nigerian was one of Belichick's closest advisors during his time with the Patriots. In December, the University of North Carolina hired the NFL legend as its head football coach. His girlfriend has become a regular at his side at practices and events. The Athletic recently examining Hudson's unofficial role with Belichick's new team, finding UNC was supposed to be the first college team ever profiled on the hit show Hard Knocks. But the Athletic citing unnamed sources saying the show decided against profiling the Tar Heel football program because of concerns of Hudson's involvement. The newspaper obtaining emails showing Belichick asking a university employee to add his girlfriend to certain emails. Hudson's signature listing her as COO of Belichick Productions. She is not employed by the university.
Okay, so this is not a new relationship. Belichick and Hudson have been together for some time now, and he made this really clear in his statement. He really only wants to talk about his new book at this moment.
What?
Not saying anything.
Yeah. If he's happy, I'm happy. If she's happy, I'm happy. Y'all could throw me under the bus. That's just how I feel.
Now with our play of the day, the NBA playoffs, and well, as always, you got all the highlights.
Hello, I have returned. So, in order to get Luka Doncic, the Lakers had to give up Anthony Davis, which left them without a star center, which left them then vulnerable to utter dominance by opposing centers like Minnesota's Rudy Gobert last night. Gobert was an unstoppable force and an immovable object near the hoop in Game 5. He scored 27 points, and he grabbed 24 rebounds. That's incredibly impressive. Luka and LeBron were also impressive. They gave it their all, but Minnesota wins. The Lakers are now bounced in the first round, which invariably leads to questions about 40-year-old LeBron's future. Will he play again? LeBron said, quote, "I don't know the answer to that right now, to be honest. So we'll see." So there's our fodder for the summer. But back to the basketball. The Rockets living to fight another day. Houston trouncing the Golden State Warriors. Michael's fired up. The Warriors weren't as fired up. They pulled their starters in the third quarter. They lost by 15. Steph Curry played 23 minutes. He scored 13 points. Game 6 is in San Francisco tomorrow night, 9 Eastern on ESPN. That's where I'll be watching.
And tonight?
Tonight we've got the Knicks and Pistons. The Knicks with another chance to close out. And we've got the Nuggets in LA, where the Nuggets could also close out that series.
All right, well, coming up, Justin Bieber might be back in the recording studio. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Severe weather threat from Texas to Pennsylvania. Widespread floods across Oklahoma. Vehicles submerged. Hundreds of flights canceled. Ginger tracking it all.
Safe space. This morning, with cancer spiking at alarming rates, we're taking a closer look at the challenges facing parents with cancer and the resourceful network for patients raising young kids while juggling treatments.
Feel the thunder. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus is here live.
Look at you. So adorable.
Telling us all about Thunderbolts.
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Thunder, feel the thunder. And get ready for an adopt-a-thon. North Shore Animal League is back with something special this morning. And these adorable pups are here to say,
it's a positively Good Morning America.
Live from Times Square, it's Thursday. Good Morning America.
We're looking forward to getting upstairs and getting that puppy love. Also looking forward to catching up with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Looking forward to that. Plus, Mother's Day only 10 days away. Tori Johnson is here. She's got deals and steals for mom with the bargains starting at under $10.
Also here, Dr. Tara Narula is here breaking down news that a weight loss medication can help those with liver disease.
First, look at the top stories breaking at 8. We start with the deadly storm battering a large portion of the country. Americans from Texas to Ohio Valley on alert for possible tornadoes, hail, and flash floods. The severe weather outbreak is causing a lot of trouble for air travel. Ginger tracking it all. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you. At least 2 people died in flooding, George, in Oklahoma, and that was just with yesterday's storms. But of course, it was not just Oklahoma. Texas, too. Hundreds of flights were canceled, so a lot of people were impacted by this. Oklahoma now, wettest April on record. Oklahoma City did it, Lawton. Some places had more than a foot of rain this month alone. Then there was the lightning that started this fire, burning a home in Oklahoma as well. So it wasn't just there, but all the way up into the Mid-South. And today, that flash flood threat is elevated along the Red River. It includes Lawton again into Fort Smith, Arkansas. And then you see how it's up in Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh, remember, just got hit, and now we're going to get it again. So damaging wind is the main hazard, but Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Lexington, Nashville included on the northern part of this, and then Jackson, Mississippi, back through the Texas Panhandle. I have to tell you that at least 4 people died in that first storm in Pennsylvania. A lot had to do with power lines, and now we're still, with another storm on the way, with 250,000 customers without power, Michael.
Listen to those warnings and stay safe out there. Ginger, thank you so much. Going to turn now to an investigation to a high school hazing incident prosecutors call hazing on steroids. 11 lacrosse players have turned themselves in after allegedly victimizing younger players. Whit Johnson is here with this story. Good morning, Whit.
Hey, Michael, good morning to you. This was a terrifying ordeal that authorities say was meant to look like an armed kidnapping. The school district near Syracuse, New York, now canceling the remainder of the varsity boys lacrosse season, saying it must reset to address the culture of the program. This morning, 11 students accused of what authorities call hazing on steroids have now turned themselves in.
I cannot really adequately express to this community the level of stupidity and lack of judgment involved in this case.
The students, part of the West Hill High School varsity boys lacrosse team outside Syracuse, New York. Authorities say after taking underclassmen to a lacrosse game last week, they then drove the younger students to a remote wooded area, pretending to be lost.
People came out of the woods all dressed in black. They were armed with what appeared to be at least one handgun and at least one knife.
Authorities say at least 4 students got away, but one left behind had his hands tied, a hood over his head, and placed in the trunk of a car by students posing as kidnappers. They later took that victim home after the incident. An attorney for one of the players who turned themselves in saying they recognize that their actions were inappropriate and do not minimize the fear and distress experienced by the other students.
Knowing these boys for so long, this is not something that I would have expected.
Gage Tolucci is a junior at West Hill and says he left the lacrosse team last month to focus on school.
Good people that made bad decisions, and unfortunately, this could affect them for the rest of their lives.
Now, authorities gave the 11 accused students an ultimatum to turn themselves in within 48 hours or face more severe consequences. So because they all came forward, they will each get a ticket for misdemeanor unlawful imprisonment, but no felony charges or criminal record. Robin.
All right, we'll be following this. Okay, Whit, thank you. Now a GMA health alert on popular weight loss medications. New research indicating a major breakthrough for the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy. It may also fight fatty liver disease. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. David Narula, is here with that. So break down these findings for us.
Good morning. Well, we're talking about a disease called MASH that affects 1 in 20 adults in America. And this is a severe form of fatty liver. And it essentially causes inflammation in the liver, fibrosis or scarring. 20% will go on to develop cirrhosis. It also increases risk of liver cancer and then possibly can lead to liver transplant. So we don't have a lot of great treatments for this. So this trial took individuals who were average age 50, most were obese, half were diabetics, divided them into 2 groups. One got a placebo and one got a weekly injection of semaglutide, which is, as you mentioned, the same drug that's in Wegovy and Ozempic. They titrated that up to the highest dose of what would be Wegovy at 2.4 milligrams, that highest dose. They then followed them for about 72 weeks, and they found that the group that got the drug 2/3 reduction in the inflammation in the liver, had a 1/3 reduction in actually the fibrosis or scarring, and a 1/3 reduction in both inflammation and scarring. And these numbers were about 15 to 30% higher in terms of the reduction than that placebo group. They also saw about a 10% weight loss in that group. Most of them had gastrointestinal side effects if they developed a side effect, which we know is common for these drugs. No serious signals of safety or harm that they picked up. So really, we think this drug is targeting the underlying root cause. We know that a lot of fatty liver is caused by these metabolic derangements, insulin resistance.
So if you have this fatty liver disease, when is this going to become available? Is it something you should talk to your doctor about now?
So Novo Nordisk just basically said that the FDA has accepted this for priority review, which means that it will be reviewed for this indication in 6 months instead of in 9 months. So that's hopeful. You know, currently there's only one drug that's approved for this disease called Rezdiffra that was approved last year. So there's a big need for something for all of these Americans who may have fatty liver. And clearly we keep seeing growing uses for these GLP drugs.
I know.
Dementia, it's being studied for substance abuse, kidney disease, obviously sleep apnea, cardiovascular disease. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's really an incredible class of drugs.
So what is it about this active ingredient that it's able to do all this?
Well, clearly it has just systemic effects, right? It's affecting the brain, it's affecting the gut, it's affecting insulin sensitivity. So I think it's those wide-reaching impact on so many parts of the system that we're seeing.
Thank you, Dr. Narula.
Yes, wow. Coming up in our GMA morning menu, the number of young people diagnosed with cancer is on the rise, which means that many of those patients are parents. I'll tell you about the support group helping them be there for their kids while also taking care of themselves.
Also ahead, we have, furry friends here to announce a countrywide adopt-a-thon. That's ahead in pop news.
It's like a perfect day on Good Morning America because Julia Louis-Dreyfus is here. She's got buzz about Thunderbolts, what it's like to be the villain. But right now, she's just a lover because we've got puppies and they're all adoptable on Good Morning America.
We're back now with our GMA cover story, an intimate look at what it's like to be a parent with cancer. A few very brave mothers spoke to us about caring for their children while going through such a tough time in their own lives and how it's okay to ask for help. 5 years ago, at just 31 years old, Naya Kite had a toddler, a baby on the way, and out of nowhere, a diagnosis of stage 2 breast cancer turned her life upside down.
It really just shattered me on so many levels.
In December, LaCria Burns was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer with a toddler at home.
It's hard enough to be a mom without throwing in a life-threatening illness.
Cancer is spiking at alarming rates, especially among women under 50. Now, 1 in 5 parents diagnosed today is raising a child or teen, prompting many more American women to face cancer and its grueling treatments while raising kids.
When a parent hears you have cancer, I can almost guarantee the first thought is, what about my kids? How am I going to tell my kids? Parents really worry about how their kids emotionally are going to get through this, how they're going to weather it.
The disruption to routine can be tough for little kids. Between doctor's appointments and chemo days, LaCria needs to set boundaries so she can rest.
He was having a really hard time being told not to come and bother mommy. So it's been a lot of adjustment.
Of course, that's not easy for mom either.
The level of mommy guilt you have in a regular day is nothing compared to, I'm here, he is here, but I don't have the energy to be around him.
For Naya, the added burden of pregnancy during treatment forced her to give up her ideals in child rearing.
When my son was first born and stuff, I was like, I'm never going to be that mom who's doing the tablet thing.
Looking for guidance, Naya and LaCria found The Bright Spot, a network for cancer survivors with children looking for a safe space for connection.
It was nice to be able to vent, laugh, cry with women who understood what I was going through.
They have many resources, including free books to help explain cancer to little ones.
I have a book that calls Stickers for Mommy's Bald Head. Thank you. So that when my son saw me without hair, he wasn't afraid of it.
Take good care of it. Thank you.
We often have an idea of what motherhood looks like for us. And this really challenges us to let that go and just take it one day at a time.
And Naya is now in remission, and her youngest is doing great, which you're happy to hear. LaCria is starting radiation soon, and she's got a great attitude, which is the most important thing that you can have. So we're so happy for you guys, and the parents, they all double down how important it is to ask for help, something we can all remember to do, and that's okay to ask for help. The parents also told us that it's important to enjoy the moments when you're feeling good and max them out in a healthy way whenever possible.
I'm so glad you brought this to us.
That's very important. You always think about one person, but when you're a parent, you're dealing with that yourself and your kids.
So tough.
It's tough. Support is so important.
Special guest here for Pop News.
We do Pop News, George. Come on now. All right, we do have some very special friends here, everybody, from North Shore Animal League America to help us celebrate their global pet adopt-a-thon. North Shore has partnered with 2,000 animal shelters and rescue groups across the country. Hi, Mom. And around the world. And this weekend, they are kicking off the month-long event at their home just outside of New York City in Port Washington. They will have hundreds of dogs, cats, puppies, kittens, all sizes, all ages, including these guys. Please, everybody, say hello to Rosie. Rosie is a 9-year young female papillon. There's Rosie. And Rosie was at a puppy mill, guys, and she was the mommy breeder. Her job was to make puppies over and over again. So can we all give Rosie a break? Okay? It's Mother's Day. Rosie needs a good home. Hey, adopt me. George, you have a Piche.
The most chilled dachshund who ever lived.
I mean, that is a gorgeous specimen of a dachshund. Long hair, 2-year-old. He was also, I believe, rescued from a puppy mill. He would be the boy breeder, if you know what I mean. Robin, you have Dolly. Dolly is a hound mix rescued from Texas. And you said Dolly got a big belly.
Baby got a big belly. Big belly.
For more information on these dogs, if you're interested in adopting and all of the puppies and dogs and cats, you can find a global adoption shelter in your area. Check out animalleague.org/adoption. And if you aren't ready to adopt, you can still make such a huge difference by donating, and anything helps. Today is their giving day. All donations are matched. All right, you guys
You
are
must be a dog whisperer because your dog's about to fall asleep.
A little belly rub makes the world go round, everybody. And how about some music news? A little to soothe the savage beast. Maybe a little Justin Bieber, you like that? So it looks like we can expect some new music from the Biebs. The singer posted these photos of himself at work in the studio on a new album, giving fans a look behind the scenes. Looks like he's doing it all there. He's at the piano, he's on drums, he's singing, he's even taking a nap. The series of photos racking up more than 1 million likes. They were just posted overnight. Thousands of fans commenting. One writes, "Never been more ready for an album in my life." Justin also posting photos with his production team. His wife Haley commenting, "Love everyone in all these photos so much." This will be Biebs' first new music since 2021. Remember his last album, Justice? It spent 2 weeks at #1 on the Billboard 200 album chart, and we sure hope that this one is just as successful. Looking forward to that.
We know you're saying something, but we don't hear you. We're just looking at our little puppies.
I know. I'm not really getting a lot of attention paid to me. You know what they say, don't work with kids or dogs. But I'm trying. In TV news this morning, remember Wisteria Lane, the music? I think we have it. I love that theme song from the show. All right, maybe not. Well, there may be some new drama moving in. Onyx Collective confirming there. Thank you. Confirming that Kerry Washington is developing a Desperate Housewives reboot tentatively titled Wisteria Lane. I'm so excited about this. This show is so great. It will reportedly be set around, a group of 5 very different friends, maybe a frenemy or 2 in the mix, who live on a picture-perfect cul-de-sac, and behind those white picket fences, there are secrets. The original show ran for 8 glorious seasons. It was my dad's favorite show. It racked up 38 Emmy nominations, multiple wins. No word yet if any of the original cast will return to their old hood, but Kerry Washington will be joining us live, guys, on Friday. That is tomorrow, Friday? Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow. And she will hopefully give us the scoop. We have to remember to ask Kerry about Wisteria. And then finally, we thought this was appropriate. Do you want to buy a Picasso, the Humane Educational Society shelter in Chattanooga, has put their 4-legged residents to work creating these abstract pieces to raise money. They are releasing this video of the puppy paintings in a Facebook post saying that these one-of-a-kind Picassos will cost you $10 each. The money goes toward their animal rescue efforts. If you're interested, go to their website. And everybody, don't forget, adopt, don't shop.
How chill are these 3 dogs?
I know.
They are beautiful. Thank you,
You save the best animals. We love you guys for all you do.
Okay, but I got to get up, Dolly. I got to get up,
I'll
Dolly.
take Dolly.
Give me Dolly.
Okay. You'll take Dolly for me? Look at that belly. Look at that belly. If you knew Dolly like I knew Dolly, I don't know. Time now for Deals and Steals. Mother's Day is just over a week away. Thank you, B-Rad, as always. And this morning, Tori Johnson is here with gift ideas to help you celebrate.
I thought you were going to bring the babies for us.
I wanted to.
Okay, well, I got really soft stuff for you here.
Okay.
This is Soma Intimates making their GMA Deals debut because we want to keep Mama cool at night. And we've got their cooling pajamas. They have sold more than 20 million units, 23,000 5-star reviews. And that's because of this unbelievably soft fabric. It is soft, stretchy, lightweight, and then every time you touch it, it always feels cool.
Yes.
So no matter how you sleep, this is going to keep you cool. We've got a big assortment of separates as well as sets, so we've got you covered no matter your style. Tons of different patterns, all 50% off starting at $20.
Don't get too comfortable. I'm going to be coming back for this.
Yeah, those are a good one. Okay, another great one, Living Proof, getting all the oohs and ahs this morning. In the studio, we've got a big variety of their award-winning hair care that is scientifically proven to improve the health of your hair over the long term. So when you consistently use the products, you're going to see the benefits. But if you need immediate results, this dry shampoo right here, one of their best-selling products because it actually cleans your hair. It helps to remove the oil, dirt, odor in hair, and then leaves a clean scent with their time-released fragrance. That's a winner. Another one that Petula and I love, this one right here, this big bottle right here, this is it's called Full Dry Volume Texture Spray. This is the one that if you want the imperfectly perfect or perfectly imperfect, no matter how you say it, that that kind of lived-in look. This is what she sprays on me right before I'm ready to go on TV. That just kind of like gives you that volume and that kind of fun lived-in tussled look. This is a really good one, but everything from this line is a winner, and it is all slashed in half today. The mask is really good too. I can't say enough about this line. Starts at $18.
And you pull off this look so
Thank
well.
you.
I love that.
Thank you. Okay, Maya J, we've got really fun personalized jewelry. So these are little cuffs. Let's say if there's like an initial that was important to you. What's great about this is it's an adjustable cuff. It's a 14 karat gold plated brass cuff, and it's got these two little side spacers that slide on and off for you to be able to add an initial, dates. You could make a name. You could use the birthstones. You could put a motto. So depending on the name that you want, I was even excited. We got all the names here, but you can do really fun things. Gary was asking where the one that says T and G for Tori and Gary. You know, we're going to be making that one. Don't worry. All slashed in half. The pieces start at $9. They're really, really fun. Yeah, load them up. And that's the good idea. You load them up. I love loading them up. Okay, Tux, making their deals debut. Gary made a little tray for you. Plain caramel and hazelnut. This is a melt in your mouth, or you'll get to decide. What are you like the caramel? You eat the whole thing. That's got little bits of caramel. It's the one that you're having. It's crushed brown sugar caramel, little bits that are in there. Melt in your mouth magic is kind of how they describe them. We've got a big variety. They use really fine cocoa. Plus we've got just a lot of assortments on here. These all start at $9. This is a great gift to be able to have to the people that are sweet in your life. So good. Okay, delicious. Buttery. This is the perfect butter tray because the lid is attached. It's the only one of its kind so that you don't drag the lid through the butter and then get your counter all dirty. Instead, it will hold 2 sticks of butter, and it's super easy here. These are $15.
And great colors.
Good colors. And then finally, you light up my life, baby. This is the light up lift light. The wand is lit. You get the mirror right there on the side. And when you hold this to your lips, somebody will get us here. These are $12. You get to light up your lips.
Are you going to light us up with some digital deals?
You got it, baby.
All right. You can get all of these products partnered with these companies. Get them on our website, and you're going to be back on GMA3 with more. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is here live with us. Come on back.
Is it possible that they've maybe joined forces against you?
Mel, these are defective losers. Antisocial tragedy in human form. You know, honestly, I cannot think of a worse group of people trying to work together. My God.
Right. It's just that,
what?
They're working together.
We're back now with Marvel's latest anti-superhero movie, Thunderbolts, which features the return of Valentina. Thank you. We just saw that clip played by the incredible 11-time Emmy Award-winning Julia Louis-Dreyfus, ladies and gentlemen. We always look forward to you coming back here.
Thank you.
This is your biggest role yet in the Marvel universe.
It is indeed.
What went into expanding the character?
Well, more actual material. That helps. You'd say in this movie, you get to sort of understand what makes her tick. And sort of from whence she came. And she's very manipulative, and she has an insatiable desire for power, just like all of us.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? We can all relate to that.
Great material, but you also put your improv training to work. Found a little comedy in Valentina.
Yes, for sure. Lots of. I mean, I'm sort of, frankly, built that way. So when I'm working on material, I'm always trying to find, well, how can we turn that up a little and turn it into a joke? But it doesn't really always apply in this movie because this movie has a lot of, I mean, it's both. There's a lot of comedy, but there's some serious stuff in it as well. Yeah.
I know you guys had the premiere in LA earlier this week.
Yes.
And you said, and maybe you were joking, but maybe not, that part of why you wanted this role, why you love this role, is that you hope to impress your adult sons.
Correct.
And
I think I really did.
Yay! They've seen it, they approved.
Yeah, they came, they really dug it, and
Yeah, I think they get a real kick out of it.
It's pretty cool to be part of the Marvel universe.
It is, and particularly this film, which is, I think, directed by Jake Schreier, who has an incredible background as an indie filmmaker, and so there's a grittiness to this film that sort of, I think, separates it, and it's like back to old Marvel roots, which is really a good thing.
And you got a chance to work very closely with the next generation actors who were here yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
Florence Pugh, Louis Pullman, Geraldine Viswanathan. And what was that dynamic like on set for you with them?
Let's see. What was the dynamic like? With all the young whippersnappers? Honestly, they were charming. But what's so interesting is, like, Geraldine and Louis both, like, know my boys. They sort of run, yes, and they kind of, they have friends who overlap, and they knew each other back in the day in high school, so it's wild. It's absolutely incredible, but a completely joyful experience. Everybody worked really hard. Everyone was aware of the responsibility of entering this Marvel universe. It is a big responsibility, to the fans and everything. So it was.
You feel the pressure from the fans in the Marvel universe?
Well, I'm awed by it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm awed by the enormity of what it is they do at Marvel, I have to say. Coming to set and stuff, you cannot imagine what a machine it is. Yeah. And so then the fandom of Marvel is a universe in and of itself. Yeah. And so you sort of witness that at the premieres, and then you see it online. I'm like, wow. And you do feel a responsibility.
Yeah. Imagine so. Well, as Michael said, the co-stars were here yesterday, and so we asked them, I said, you're going to be here, the Queen.
Yeah.
What should we ask you? And this is how they responded.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in villain mode, playing Valentina. She is on GMA tomorrow. Our question is, are you ready? What should we ask her? Do you like us?
Yes.
And I think she'd appreciate answering that question.
No, not really.
That seemed like the answer she was expecting. But that had to be something for them to work with you, Julia. Seriously.
Well, yes, it was, Robert. I mean, what am I supposed to say? They were so delightful. I'm not kidding you. Florence Pugh, by the way, is such a superstar and such a good human being and such an actor. Good God. Being up close to her in a scene, I just can't believe it. She really delivers. I'm telling you, man, she's so good in this film.
Jumped off the top of that building, too.
Yes, second tallest building in the world.
Yeah.
And she insisted on doing it.
She sure did.
Tried to write it out.
Yeah.
She was like,
no, they had to get all this extra insurance and all this stuff. Can you imagine?
No.
But it all worked out.
She told us she was scared, though, yesterday. She said she was actually frightened, and she scared herself to know that she can actually convince herself to do something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very.
Did she also tell you that she took like a 3-hour nap after they shot that?
We didn't get that part.
Well, she said it was 9 takes.
Yeah.
9 times.
But yeah. And then she just just collapsed.
Yeah.
So you weren't tempted to follow her up there?
No, sir.
Well, they would be tempted to follow your career, because you said that Elaine from Seinfeld, if she was a part of this universe, she'd be a villain. So what would happen if she, Valentina, and your character Selena Meyer from Veep all got together?
What would happen?
Yeah. In the villain role.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine would kill the other two. It would be very quick. It wouldn't be very painful. And that would be the end of that.
Oh my gosh. I had my money on Selena.
Do you?
I had my money on her. She would just kind of find a way to kind of.
Yeah, but then she'd screw it up.
That's a good point.
That's true. That would be true. Oh, Julia, thank you so much. We're very excited.
Thank you.
Everybody's very excited about this.
I'm excited too. I'm really excited for people to see it. It's a totally different. It's a departure, and it's super entertaining and a lot of heart too.
Good for you. Good. And Thunderbolts, it hits theaters nationwide tomorrow.
Yes.
Coming up, New York Times bestselling author Carly Fortune is here talking about a new book and the fan favorites that will soon be heading to the screen. Come on back.
just getting some good scoop. Back now on GMA with the latest book from #1 New York Times bestselling author Carly Fortune. Her new book, One Golden Summer, reunites readers with a popular character from her first book, Every Summer After. Welcome. Thanks for giving me a little scoop behind the scenes.
Yes, you're very welcome.
This is something readers have really wanted.
Oh, yes, yes. This book is the love story of Charlie Florek, who is a character from my first novel. And when that book came out, I had people in my DMs approaching me at events asking for Charlie to have a happy ending. And so it's a book that I've been thinking about for years, and one that people have demanded. They've said justice for Charlie.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, and so this is it.
All right, so here we go. And by the way, you don't have to have read the first book to get into this one, which is always nice. You know, it's less pressure.
Yes, no pressure.
But Alice, the main character in this book, is really a nod to fans, isn't it?
Yeah, she really is. She is a photographer, and she spent one summer at the lake when she was 17, and it's where she discovered her love of photography. And she spent the summer watching these 3 teenagers have this very dramatic summer. She did not talk to them. She was very shy. And those are the characters from my first book, Percy, Sam, and Charlie. And she took one photograph of them that really made her
launched her career,
launched her career. And what I loved about Alice is that she was a stand-in for readers who are also reading Every Summer After, watching those characters have these magical summers from afar.
I love it. Okay, so there are 3 must-haves, or you say that there are 3 must-haves for a great rom-com. Will you share them?
Yeah, of course. For me, the #1 thing is an immersive setting. I want readers to feel like they are at the lake. They can smell the pine trees. They can feel the sun on their face. And if you're reading in your apartment, you still feel like you've had that kind of summer on the lake. The second thing is big emotions. Like, I want you to laugh and cry. I want you to feel like a little bit steamy. I want to take you all over the place.
Okay.
And then the third thing is to feel like you're snooping on real people.
I love that.
So like these characters might be real, and
I love that. You do that really, really well.
Thank
you do all 3 of those things really well,
Thank
because you really do feel like you're in the setting. Your writing is just awesome.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
And very exciting news to share with our viewers. We're going to see some of these characters come, I was going to say real life, no, but on the screen you will see them come to life.
That's right, yes. Every Summer After is being adapted by Amazon Studios, yes.
That's so exciting.
And we are shooting very soon, so it's extremely exciting.
And can you share any of the details of the production?
Not really, but it's happening very soon. We're getting really close to, we're casting, everything is happening.
That's great. So, are you happy with the direction of the casting?
Yeah,
because I'm sure
I haven't seen the casting yet. It's underway.
They'll just tell you. Oh
it's
gosh,
underway.
so are you sort of just holding your breath?
I'm waiting to see the videos. I am so
because in your
excited.
head you must have a picture of Alice and Charlie.
You know
and
what? They're kind of blurry to me.
Really?
Yes, which is
so
why
funny. I have like when I'm reading, I get a very clear picture.
Well, I love that. Like that's what I'm trying to do for you. But for me, they're very, very blurry. And so I'm so excited to see the cast because I think they'll help me envision what the characters actually look like. I can see the places much better than I can see the characters.
Well, you do such a great job transporting us. So congratulations on yet another one coming.
Oh my gosh.
One Golden Summer is available for pre-order now. It's out everywhere Tuesday. And if it's anything like the first, it's a must read.
Thank you.
Ginger, we're going to head over to you.
Well, you've made me want to read it all, so thank you. We got to go now to our Disney's Week of Wishes. It's continuing from Disney World this time. We want to show you a night of dreams that came true. Check out this Once Upon a Wish party. Disney worked with Make-A-Wish on a 2-day event that culminated with a magical party. Over 2 days, 48 kids from North America were transformed into princess outfits and even got personalized crowns. Definitely a night to remember. If you want to become a wish maker, you can point your phone right there at that QR code.
It's like a pit stop crew. Now, first look at docuseries about Sherry Papini, the California mother of 2 who faked her own kidnapping, ultimately pleading guilty and spending more than a year in prison. She's now telling her side of the story in the doc. Matt Gutman back with that. Hey, Matt.
Hey, George. We covered this in the beginning and for years afterwards as Papini's story just kept getting more and more bizarre. We interviewed investigators, friends, her husband, Keith. But the one person who never spoke about the saga was Sherry herself. This time, strapped to a polygraph machine at times, she says she's telling the whole truth.
The kidnapping hoax that once gripped the nation is now back under the microscope.
Sherry Papini is the Northern California mom of two who vanished in 2016 and claims she'd been abducted and tortured for 22 harrowing days. Her return sparking a media frenzy, but as details of her disappearance unraveled, so did her story. Her husband Keith telling me about the moment he finally learned the truth of her abduction and subsequent affair with ex-boyfriend James Reyes, who admitted he helped Papini inflict injuries to herself.
Why do you think that she essentially concocted this hoax, disappeared, beat herself to a pulp for 22 days, and then continued to lie about it for years?
I think she wanted me to be her knight in shining armor and run to her.
Federal investigators ultimately determining her claimed kidnapping was all a lie. Papini pleading guilty to mail fraud and making false statements, serving over a year in prison. Now, in a new two-night docuseries for ID Discovery, Sherry, despite that conviction and a sharp rebuke by the court, seems to continue to insist she was abducted.
I was tortured, I was branded, I was chained to a wall. All of that is true. I did keep some secrets from you, though.
Sherry undergoing a lie detector test as she tells her story in her own words.
So tell me why we should believe you now.
Were you free to leave at any time without fear of violence?
I'm Sherry Papini. I was abducted and I was tortured, and the FBI said I made it all up. I really challenge anybody watching this film. How truthful are you?
Right now, Sherry and her husband Keith are in the midst of a brutal custody battle. She's fighting for visitation rights with their kids. Their next hearing is later this month, and Sherry Papini, Caught in a Lie, will premiere across 2 nights on ID beginning Monday, May 26th, and will stream also on Max. Guys.
I don't know.
Well, that's her story, and she's sticking to it. I can say
That's her story.
I don't know.
Thank you, Matt.
Have a great day, everybody.